Okay, well, yes, I'm doing this. Let's go. Bismillah. Assalamu Alaykum. Welcome to the first episode of Finding the Balance. And today I'm just going to be giving you guys a little introduction into what this podcast is going to be about. I'll be honest, I was kind of debating this a little bit. I was like, is it necessary? Is it not? Should I just jump straight into topics? I don't know. After kind of reflecting a bit, I think it is important because if you're going to take time out of your day to listen to me, whether it's a one-off or consistently for as long as I continue to do this, Insha'Allah, then I want to kind of make sure your time is spent wisely and is of value too, because time is important and I don't want to be wasting your time if this isn't something for you. But having said that, I really hope that it can be something beneficial. I feel like the Finding the Balance logo itself is a big telltale sign of what I aim for this podcast to be about, but I'm just going to describe it to you anyway. If you haven't seen already, the logo is half the world and half a tasbih, which are like prayer beads that we use to do remembrance of Allah or dhikr, and it was sort of inspired by the Deen over Dunya phrase. Except if you realize, because it's split half and half, it's about finding the balance between the two. Also, whilst I'm talking about the logo, I just want to quickly say a huge shout out to my friend Nasima at Muslima, MOOSLEEMARGH, on Instagram for drawing up the logo for me in its final form. It literally started off as a tiny sketch in my notepad and it became something so beautiful, more than I could even imagine, and I just love it. So thank you so much. It was so much fun working with you and just creating it together. She also said to me that when we were sort of sketching and curating designs, the one that I did, which is now the official logo, that it looked like a brain, and I just absolutely loved that interpretation, which is what actually made me go with it in the end, because the deen and dunya aspect of what I was just talking about is meant to be in our mindset. We have to understand that we need balance in our life. I mean, even in the Quran, we're described as we should be a balanced nation or a middle nation or a moderate nation. In Surah Baqarah, verse 143, just to give you an exact reference. And I think that's just it. That in itself shows why balance is so important. And sometimes we forget that we can sort of go too much one way or too much the other way. And being in this middle ground is the perfect pathway to end up being on. And Insha'Allah, we all get there. I mean, just personally, when I was younger, whenever I used to hear Deen over Dunya, it kind of made me have a negative view of the world. I just didn't understand why, okay, we're here, so this place is also of value. This place also matters. What we do here matters, and we're even told that in the Quran, that we need to be aware of our actions. That's why we're held accountable for them in the next life. Because, at the end of the day, we're placed on earth for a reason. I'm actually going to quote something I remember from a talk I heard the other day, because I think it's really it fits here. So the person speaking basically said that we as humans are created with needs. We have things that, we need to function, to be human. That's in our human nature. It's eating and drinking. Those are like our physical needs to function. We have our spiritual needs, which we are then given guidelines for by Allah and in the Quran and in the Sunnah. And then we have the need to enjoy, the need to feel happy, I guess. And as much as there's this whole, you will never find true happiness in this world and you will never find true contentment like you will in the afterlife, we understand that. But at the same time, we don't then just live in this world being sad, being upset that, we're not in the afterlife yet, because this life is still a test. We should still appreciate our blessing. And we are allowed also to have that element of enjoyment in the world too. Obviously within limits. I'm not saying like go and do whatever the heck you want, but within limits. So in terms of what you can expect from Finding the Balance, I'm going to be doing some episodes alone, but I'm also going to be planning to do episodes in collaboration with like other people. And I'm really, really excited for those. I have a lot of plans, Inshallah, of topics and sort of even just personal reflections that I think are quite important to put out. that maybe even someone else can relate to or someone can learn something from it. I think it's important for us to share our reflections in our life. It's important for us to share knowledge that we have too. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. I'm not an extremely knowledgeable person myself. But at the same time, I'm not going to allow that to limit me. I feel like generally, sometimes there's a perception behind religion or a quote unquote religious person that we have to be at a certain level. And I mean, the way I see it, that the Quran and Islam isn't just for the scholars and the sheikhs that teach Islam. The Quran is for all of us. Islam is for all of us. The Quran was sent down to the whole of mankind to benefit from and for all of us to learn from. It's literally our guidebook in life. And so we can't ever say that it's only solely for these people and not us. Having said that, I think it's really important for you guys to know that I'm never going to try to go beyond my own personal limits in my knowledge, because yes, I am limited. So if there is ever anything that you would like to know more on at any time, feel free to ask, and I will always try to source the correct information for you, or you can, go and do some research into it yourself. But of course, always make sure that it's correct and valid. At the end of the day, you can take what you wish from these podcasts. Inshallah, if you do listen. So this is a lifelong journey, deen and dunya, until the day that we die, essentially, right? Okay, let's finish it up here. Assalamu Alaykum. I hope that you are excited to hear the rest of the episodes I've got coming up. And just, I'm really excited. I just can't wait to get them out, inshallah, and even just learn things from the people that I will do the podcast with. I've got a few plans coming up. So, exciting stuff. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you are all well. Assalamu Alaikum.